Hello and welcome to another Crafting with Kara. Today is not a yak and yarn as usual, but it is in fact a Crafting with Kara because we're going to be talking about things that I crafted this week. We've got Ginger with us. Let's see. Hey! Oh, you're going to... Yeah. Hello. Hi, Ginger. Yeah. And Mahogany is out on a run with my spouse. So she was here. They were enjoying themselves. I even started one taping of a video with her, and then I was interrupted like twice. So this is my third time trying this. Is it going to go smoother than the other two? Probably not. Let's find out. So I am going to be talking about festive holiday things. If it is in fact too early for you to be hearing about Christmas tree ornaments and decorations, I understand. I think it's crazy early, but I'll explain why I'm doing it. So I understand if you want to swipe away and say, no, that's not my jam. It is crazy early in November. What are you doing? I understand. But I'm rocking my Alaska hat, and I'm drinking a pumpkin beer. It's great. The Alaska hat is made out of yarn from Chicago Yarn Con. It came in two colors. It was like a kit all together that the dyer specifically made the one like gradient color to make this hat, and then the other one's a contrasting color. So you can see here we got the contrasting color, and then we got the beautiful trees, and then we've got all the different gradient colors to make it look like an Alaska sunset. The hat pattern is Alaska hat, and the yarn company I don't recall, but I love this hat. It's just like light and easy. It's great for like when it's a little chilly but not super chilly, or like today where my hair's feeling meh, and then I throw on a hat and then I feel like $100. I love it. I don't know about you, but anytime I put on a hat, I go from feeling like 80% to 100%. I love me some hats. So today, as I mentioned, I'm going to be talking about some Christmas ornaments. I was invited to a outdoor Christmas tree decorating party, and so it's at Brookfield Zoo. A friend invited me. Their family has paid for a tree that's going to then stay outdoors all through November and December, and then they can take down the ornaments in January if they like. So it's got to make sure that it can, withstand all the weather and all the storms and everything like that, the snow and everything for like 2.5 months. We are being invited to go tomorrow to decorate, which is why I thought I'd show off what I've been working on this week. Less crafting on my days off or my evenings, and more working on ornaments. There are 3 major categories. Excuse me. I've got some that are yarn related, and then I have some very like do-it-yourself, homemade looking ones. They're all homemade looking ones, but these ones are real rough and ready, if you know what I mean. You'll see. And then the third category is salt dough. I always want to say salt dough cookies, but salt dough ornaments that I used cookie cutters and then painted. Those are really fun, and I can post what the recipe was and everything like that. It was super easy. It did take some time though, which is why they're in the third category. So the first ones are my favorite. I'm going to show off. They're I-corded fabric that I then turned into monogram letters, because when I was invited to come to the tree decorating, they were like, if you want to bring some ornaments, you're welcome to. Oh, Ginger, you really slobbered me. You're just all over. That's a little gross. So they invited me to come and if I wanted to bring ornaments, if I had time. And they know that I'm such a crafty person. I've made all of their sons baby blankets, and I made an amigurumi banana as an Arrested Development joke, things like that. So they know me as a crafty yarn person, and they said, bring something, quote, yarny, which I really liked. I thought about what to make there. I even did some like, searching on search engines to try and figure out what I could do. But I knew that, again, it has to stand like 2.5 months outside. I didn't want to knit like little swatches and have them be out there because they might not be able to withstand things. So it was all about the amount of effort that I'm willing to put in, because I know that at the end they may or may not want to keep these ornaments. And that the weather might get to them. So I can't get super attached to these things. So I went with simple and easy, and I found some I-corded letters. So I don't know if you're familiar with like I-cord stuff, but here's some I-cord examples. So you take thin yarn and then you run it through an I-corder, and then you get this like knit spiral, and it's much thicker. So I've got a few different colors here. And here's my I-corder. Initially, when I bought this, you can see, I didn't, so that way I did all of this without needing like a double pointed needle or knitting it myself. I just popped it in and then spun it around. This I initially bought because I wanted to make floor mats for people as gifts, especially ones getting new pets. I thought that would be a fun, like, here's a dog mat, here's a cat mat, here you go. And a bunch of the yarn and everything that I had thought about that was super machine washable and everything was like crazy chenille yarn, and I wasn't super feeling that. So I bought like Pound of Love yarn at the time, ran it through the I-corder, and then I actually knit with like this thick of a gauge, which ended up going great. I like crocheted a dog bone. I did another one that was just kind of like, the colors were the exciting bit. So it was just pretty, knit stockinette, but the colors were really pretty. And then there was another one that I made that someone had just gotten a cat, and I still had the I-cord string attached while I was I-cording and knitting. So I would knit and I would then be like, oh, I need to change it to white string. And then it would literally in the I-corder change it, like, cut it, change it. And so that way it was completely seamless, and it was just kind of like, blended together like that. And then when you knit it, it did color pooling for me. And so that one, it ended up looking like a cat with a blue background. It was really cool. I was very excited about that one. So I have all this I-cord stuff. This is extra. I had green just in my basement as some scrap yarn, and I went to Michael's to get quite a few craft supplies. And this one I got the big twist, like tinsel or sparkle or something. So I got two different colors. This is just because they're spun together. So the white has some sparkle in it, but it's harder to tell on camera, and the red definitely has some sparkle, which you can see. And then my green doesn't, it's just kind of flat colored. But that's what I wanted. So this, I think I'm going to turn into kind of like a garland on my entryway. I'm very excited. Or like a garland for the tree, and take out the green. But the main reason that I got that tinsel yarn is so that I could make these guys. So the family and a few kids have, everybody's got their own letter. So I thought I'd make this. I have yet to, but I'm going to add a little string to, honestly, maybe I'll even just tie it through the holes. And well, some of the letters don't have holes. But yeah, so I'll just get a darning needle, pop it through, and then make a little, string, so that way we can hang it on the tree. And if they love it so much they want to bring it to their indoor tree, then that's fine. But if they don't, that's fine as well, because I'm going to make some for my tree with my letters, because I like this so much. This one, as you can see, it's an A, so I didn't necessarily want to cut and then reattach and all these things. So instead I looked up some cute cursive like fonts that I liked, and then I just kind of made some wire to it. So I took the I-cord, and inside is like an 18 gauge floral cord. Again, went to Michael's, found in the floral section there was some floral wire. And a lot of it was too malleable, so I went with a high gauge. So this is an 18 gauge wire, and it was pre-cut. It was like this long, so that way they're all consistently the same length, except when it comes to letters. Some letters are bigger and smaller than others. And then I just made sure to taper off the ends of the I-cord, And then for this one, because it crosses in a few places, I ran a darning needle through the points and just fixed it and then tied knots. So there we go. There's one. This one's an L. You know, some of them are a little less obvious than others. Here's an F. I think this one's fun. I think it looks cute. And then this one was a little harder to make look adorable, but boy, you can tell that's a J. And then we've got two more. Here we go. I like this one. You know, this one didn't need a swirl, but because others had swirls, I thought, why not? Especially because it's already a pretty big letter. So why not, you know, take some of the length that I had and use it for that swirl to then make it consistent for the family. And then lastly, we've got this one. So I'm going to make a few letters for my own tree, you know, my initials, as well as my spouse's, which I'm really excited about. I think these turned out really good. Honestly, the most annoying part was taking that 18 gauge metal piece and sticking it through the I-cord. It didn't take more than half an hour for these 6, but I was annoyed. It kept maybe getting caught on the tinsel. I'm not sure. But it's not like I'm going to use any other yarn because this is the cute festive stuff. I picture this getting caught in like the Christmas lights and twinkling and things, which I'm really excited about. I think it's really cute. And I saw it on Etsy and I'm like, well, I can make that. And then after doing a few of these, I'm like, I can do a lot of Etsy things. So those are my favorite. Those are, I think, like the most professional looking. And I really like them. Now on to the far less professional ones. Let's dive into the least exciting one. Yeah, right? So I was looking up really, you know, like recycled materials, super homemade. You know, at the time I was thinking I don't want to spend more than 15 minutes on an ornament because it's going to be outside and no one's going to see it. This is, you know, what are we going to do? So I have Q-tips from Costco, and so I made a snowflake. Also, I think it kind of looks like a ball of yarn, which it's not supposed to, but hey, whatever. So yeah, I even then dug out my old hot glue gun. One of my favorite things about this whole experience was that I think I've moved a lot, you know, in like the past, 20 years. I've moved like 3 times. Maybe that's not even a lot. And each time I feel like I get rid of things that I don't necessarily use. And I'm sure that in one of the times it was like, get rid of some crafty stuff because you don't use it. So I kind of replenished my craft corner. Now I've got a box of stuff. Like my hot glue gun I had, but I did not have hot glue sticks. I had only had like one left. So I brought that one to Michael's and then got a few. So this one is hot glued instead of yarn. And then that's even how this string is connected here. Whereas this one was before I even had hot glue. So you can see the progression. I think it'll look nice against a green tree background, like white standing out. I think it'll be great. And I'm fine with it. It doesn't have to be beautiful is the thing. That's what this category is about. So because I had just gotten a hot glue, I also got some with like fun colors. So then I had some fun with my hot glue gun. So that's a star with my gold glitter hot glue. To be honest, when I was doing this, here's a snowflake of a similar kind of idea. I recently went to a museum and it was talking about like microplastics in the air. And now I'm putting in a hot glue into a tree. But you know what? It's festive and this is what I did. And it's only like 3 ornaments. So I'm not going to think about it too much. I'm just going to avoid doing it en masse. That's what my big thought is. So here's a snowflake. I think it's cute and pretty. It'll definitely stand the weather and everything. And if they end up not wanting to take it back in January, I will not feel heartbroken because it took 2 minutes. This one's a little swirl. This one had more gold on it, and then I think I put down glue that was less fun, but the back I like. That one you can see like the gold and the blue. So those are the hot glue ones. I also, it's maybe you're guessing it when you start seeing these real homemade things. I did pipe cleaners. So here's a pipe cleaner tree, and it's two-sided. It's kind of cute, right? I hot glued the little ornaments, and then I added a star, and I'm pretty sure I just wove the star in. And there we go. So that's cute. That'll withstand some things. Another pipe cleaner. This one's a wreath. This one I saw online on Instagram. Thanks, Instagram. And it's honestly not as cute in person, but that's okay. That's why I only made one of these. And then as soon as I was done, I was like, not making more. The tree was cute enough, but I was like, not super great. This one's a fun one. Hey, this cute little hat. This is a toilet paper roll. And then you just kind of, do some easy stuff with it. Make a little palm. Now you got yourself a hat. Like I said, I didn't want to knit anything because I didn't want to put in time and effort, but this was random scrap yarn. This was actually made from one of those cat mats that I was talking about. And so scrap yarn made it nice and easy. And now we've got another piece of recycled material. I'm not sure if you can see it well. So this, if you can't already tell, is made out of corks. So wine corks, I then cut them in thirds with a razor cutter. And so here we go. I even made sure, again, I'm thinking environmentally, the real wine corks, the stuff that's actually made out of cork, you can recycle that and return that somewhere, and they'll take it back and reuse it, or turn it into something, which is great. So I have a whole bunch of those weird plastic pretend corks that are definitely made out of, like I said, plastic or something like that. It is not genuine cork. It's, some weird synthetic material. So I used all of those weird corks, and I painted them and I attached them together. In fact, I even have one inside the hat. So I can even pop it out now and show you what I'm talking about. So it's not like real cork. You see, it's, I don't know. Yeah, so it's spongy. It's weird. This one I popped inside the hat just to give it that shape. I feel like it looks a little better, and I had an extra one because I cut them in thirds, and so I had an extra 1/3 left and didn't know what to do with it. I have another one of these as well. So this one, I did the tree stump a little differently. And then I decoupaged it with glitter for this one, or I Mod Podged it. This one I did glitter on one side and not on the other. And in general, it's just in case it rains and my acrylic paint, it should be fine, but who knows. There is one more in here. Let me see. Here is my other wine cork one. So this one's just 6 wine corks, and it's instead making a snowflake. So again, these didn't take much. I painted the last 3 acrylically with acrylic, colors, and they're very homemade and they're fun. I like them. I even like the Christmas trees so much that one's gonna go on the Brookfield Zoo tree, and the other one I'm gonna give to my mom for Christmas. So now on to what ended up being my favorite to make. It was super fun. I made some salt dough cookies. Ornaments. So this one, I just used 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of sugar, and it called for 1 cup of water, but it wanted you to blend it until it was firm, and it wanted you to add the water slowly. So I ended up only using 3/4 of a cup of water. You roll it out with a rolling pin, you use cookie cutters, and then you bake it in the oven for 90 minutes each. I think I did 99 for one of them and then 90 for the rest. Anyway, so yeah, 90 minutes at a 250-degree oven. And then afterwards, I painted them with acrylic. So in case you can't tell, this one's an elf. I then did make sure that I like flipped them over because who knows how they're going to go on a tree, you know? When they dangle on a tree, I wanted to make sure both sides were exciting. So I spent a lot of time on these, ornament cookies because I wanted to make sure both sides were good. Not to say that the paintings are good of each one. This guy is a very sunburnt elf, but there you go. Then we've got a wreath. Again, some of these are not 100, but there you go. So I bought like a red and green kit of paint, and then I also got some blues because I knew I had snowflakes. So that snowflake has even snowflake glitter on it. I'm not sure if you can tell. But oh yeah, there you go. See that one catching the light right there? So that's a snowflake hunk of glitter, which is fun. And that was part of the paint set that I bought. I like the tradition of having a pickle on your Christmas tree. So I always wonder, what do you do with the last bits of dough when you're completely done with the ornament? At first I was going to make like a last name plate, and it was going to go this direction. But then once I realized I wanted to make a pickle, I made this lumpy, ugly thing into a pickle. So I made a pickle ornament. It might not look like a pickle, especially when it dangles this way. It might look like a caterpillar. But I don't care. I labeled it. I'm adding a pickle to the ornaments, which is fun for me. Even if it's not fun for everyone, that's okay with me. So I'm just going to show off some of these. With the salt dough, you can see that you can like a fork imprint. So I did that. And then I added that glitter. And then there's the other side. I used candy canes. I like this one. I think this one looks good. Very traditional. And then bam, made more fun on that side. Got some more snowflakes. Little dots. So a lot of these won't be sad if they're lost to the elements. There are a few that I spent a lot of time on, so I honestly might end up keeping them. Shh, it's a secret. I made quite a few snowmen because, as I talked about earlier, I think sometimes having like the white up against the green tree looks really nice. So I like the idea of having like white guys. Whoop, that one fell on the ground. Luckily, they're pretty sturdy, so it's okay. But yeah, so white guys up against the tree. So that's pretty good. I did try to buy, black paint, and I couldn't find any. They were sold out of black paint at the time, which was fine, whatever. So I just kind of mixed some browns together. This one's a rocking horse, in case you can't tell. On the internet, I saw people poke yarn through to make the mane. I tried that. The holes ended up closing. So whoops, it's just a rocking horse with weird holes on its head now. But on this side, you can't tell because I painted it. Oh, I want to add a little black dot to that eye. We got some traditional gingerbreads. They look cute. They look very burnt looking. Another snowman with those fun snowflakey glitter guys. Yeah. So I had a really good time this week doing a lot of this. Here's another elf. And there's the other side. The ones that I ended up kind of leaning towards were ones that I designed a little bit more. I felt a little like knit crafty because I was like, I know it takes a long time to make stockings, but it's easier to paint them. So the painting stockings went really well. This one was just traditional. It's not super fun in any means, but there is glitter, so that's fun. But yeah, I got to design some fun, Christmas tree stockings, which I was excited about. And the fact that it takes 2 minutes to make these instead of, weeks to make them, it was kind of fun. I liked it. Some more candy canes. And another snowman. An itty bitty gingerbread this time. Because the cookie cutters I had all were the same shapes and then a smaller version of that shape, which for the wreath worked out pretty fun. For the other ones, it ended up being pretty similar. The star, you could put like a star inside a star, which I ended up doing for one. That was cute. Oh, that's a fun little one. Another normal candy cane, but I think that'll look classic on a tree. It'll be nice. It'll stand out. So the smaller snowflake was definitely less detailed as far as cookie cutter went, but yeah, it still looked cute. And there's another snowflake. Mahogany just came back. And Ginger's now barking. Here's a nutcracker. This one I tried to make the like nutcracker mouth that opens and closes, but it didn't really work all that well. And then this that one I decided to ignore that. You're drinking water. It's okay. So there's a wreath. This is one where I tried to use the wreath to cut a hole, but instead I just kind of ended up shaping it with my finger. Tried to make little bows. Here's another fun stocking. So this one's a little bit more simpler, but I liked that I added the stitching. And then this side, I went a little crazier. Did a little more. That one separated like turtle doves in Home Alone. There we go. This one I got all octopusy on. And I had some big Christmas trees, and I also had gold bells. And so instead of hot gluing like golden pom-poms or anything to make stars, I just added jingle bells, and I thought that would be a fun addition to the tree. And then this side has all the colors that I had in a little tree decoration. That's very similar, just in a smaller version. This one's very traditional. The bell's over on this side, but it can just float around anywhere. And here you can see there was a little bit of like green color change. Yeah, there you go. That I did like some layers of green. Honestly, I just forgot to do more decorations. And when it came time to Mod Podge them, I was like, yeah, green's good enough for me. It's done. Here's another tree. The trees I feel like I definitely went more basic with, whereas like the other ones I got a little bit more creative. This one, but some of them I did get, like let's just throw some paint on it. I have two reindeers. One more is drying over on the other side, but here's a little reindeer. I gotta say the antler bits were a little tricky, but I do like that I added a little red nose, so that was fun. I have another rocking horse. That one feels very traditional Christmas, almost Swedish too. Like the red and white reminds me of those Swedish horses. And another Christmas wreath. This side, you can see on the red, I tried to make some color variation on the bow, but then this side has fun dots. This is literally just one of the insides of a wreath. I thought it would make a fun little ball. And now here are some of my favorites. So I also have bells. So just like the stockings, I got to be a little bit more adventurous. That one's, in my opinion, the ugliest bell. But here's some pretty ones. Look at that guy. Isn't that one pretty? So again, just like the stockings, it felt like you could like decorate them however you wanted. Technically, I could have decorated candy canes and trees however I wanted to, but I just felt the most liberty when it came to these liberties with bells. Oh, that's great. So there's these. And then that's really why I bought these bells to begin with. At first I thought I could pierce a hole here and then have it dangle. But I just ended up having it here. And that way it'll make sounds when the wind blows. And I think that'll be fun. Here's another one of my favorites. I feel like it's just very classic colors. It'll stand out on a tree. And then, as I mentioned, there was like a star within a star. So there you go. That's that one. And last but not least is one I tried to do some shading on with this on a bell. You can see the little snowflake guys. You can see that pretty well on here. I tried to get that. Which side has the ombre? I think it's this one. You can, like, one side is a darker blue and that side's a lighter blue. So that was me trying to shade and look like a real bell. But then I let go of that and started having more fun. And I started having more fun too. So these are all the ornaments that I am going to use to adorn this outdoor tree. A few of them ended up becoming, actually this one. A few of them ended up becoming Christmas presents and or ones that are going to go on my tree forever. So yeah, we'll see. Like that's fun. That says I'm a knitter without being yarn. Yeah, have you made any homemade ornaments? If so, what has been successful, and what has made you want to make it again or something like that? I really liked making these salt dough guys. I feel like I would make them again with, my nephew or something like that. But yeah, they definitely take some time. I feel like it would need to be done in stations because, like I said, 90 minutes cooking, that's after you've rolled out the dough and done cookie cutting with it. And then painting takes some more time as well. And then once that paint dries, then you decoupage it if you choose to. I don't think if you didn't have them outdoors, I wouldn't have decoupaged these guys at all. Because the dough itself is meant to be preserved as well as the paint, is kind of preserving it more. But I did use matte paint and then I wanted like a shinier outcome. So I wanted that like shine to it. And that's where the decoupage kind of popped in. Yeah, I think a few of these are fun and easy. And then other ones took a little bit more time, but they look nice. I really like it. So let me know what you think. If you have any other tips for in the future, they've done this, I think 2 or 3 years now. So if you have any comments and recommendations, I would love to know them so that way I can try to do them in the future with them. Yeah, it was fun to share with you a different side of crafting of mine. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great day and have a good time. All right, that's all from Crafting with Kara for today. Happy early November, even though I keep talking about Christmas ornaments. See you later. Bye.